Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. Going to be making the wonderful and incredible delicious Pastéis de nata. Hello, in this video I'm going to be making Pastéis de nata, or Pastel de nata. I'm not sure how to say it properly, but this is the Portuguese custard tarts. I think it just means pastry cream. Anyway, they're going to be really lovely, and I think you're going to really like this video. Alright, 17th century Portuguese custard tarts, here we go. Full recipes on my website, unclematscookerylessons.com. There's a pinch of salt went into the flour and cold water. I'm using a bowl, you could use a stand mixer. Just mix that for a couple of minutes till it forms really like a sticky dough. And I just left that for about 10 to 20 minutes just to fully hydrate it, let it relax. Now, copious amounts of flour, that's plain flour or all-purpose flour if you're stateside, and use absolutely tons of it. Don't worry, we need that much flour to be able to work with this incredibly sticky dough, but we're going to be using a pastry brush to remove the excess so we don't get flour in the folds, because we're going to laminate this dough. So if you've ever made puff pastry or something like that, it's a very, very similar technique. So formed a square. Don't worry about the measurements of it, just get it nice and thin as you can work with it really. There we go, pastry brush, brushing off all the excess. So take 1/3 of the butter from the recipe, and it's very, very soft spreadable butter. I use the microwave to do that. Leave a slight border at the top and one side, but then leave a large gap the other. So sort of go 2/3 across, brushing off the excess flour again, brushing off the excess flour after you've done the first third of a fold, and then finish off the business letter type fold, and again brushing off the flour. That is so hard to work with now. I'm popping that in the fridge for 10 minutes. So it went into when I rolled it, it was like portrait to me. Now I put it landscape, if that makes any sense. I've turned it through 90 degrees and I'm rolling it out again into a similar sized square, brushing off the excess flour as we go. Once we have our square formed again, the second third of the butter, again a slight border, but spread it all the way across, but well, not all the way across, 2/3 of the way across, brushing off the flour, folding it over to complete the business letter fold, back into the fridge. That's the last time we're doing that particular fold. So we have 1/3 of the butter left. Again, we've turned it through 90 degrees so that we can roll it out again, but this time into more of an elongated rectangle, brushing off the excess flour. The remaining butter will go on, but you're going to go all the way across, all the way down to the bottom where you are, but you're going to leave a border of 1 or 2 inches or so at the top end. This is a little bit tricky and difficult. It's not easy to work with, but we're going to roll this up like a roulade, like a Swiss roll style. That's what creates that wonderful finish on these delightful tarts from Portugal. I believe that they were first created by monks, Catholic monks, and they had leftover egg yolks from, they'd use the egg whites to stiffen their clothes, but also to clarify the wine they made. So they had a gluttony of egg yolks, so they came up with these wonderful recipe. Anyway, well done the Portuguese for a wonderful addition to the culinary world. I damped my finger, run it along that plain edge there, just so that pastry could stick to itself, just removing the very outside ends once we've completed the roulade. And now it's still really tricky to work with. Wrap it up in cling film. I left that to the next day, but I would say a minimum 2 to 3 hours to completely firm up. Sort of mark it in the middle, then halfway through those, basically cutting 12 even sized pieces like so, and you can see that pronounced sort of ring look, that roulade look. But it's cylinder side standing up in your muffin tin, or in my case that's a Yorkshire pudding tin, and use damp fingers and thumbs to sort of form it up the sides of each well. Obviously it looks like there's a little gap there, so just push that bit across. There you go, good job Uncle Matt. It's the first time I've ever done this, by the way. I think, let's do it whilst filming. What could possibly go wrong? I formed those so that they were slightly proud at the top of the muffin tin or Yorkshire pudding tin, and that went in the fridge while I made the custard. So that was, as you'll see in the recipe, some of the milk went into the flour, stirred it to a paste. The remaining milk goes on the stove along with this syrup, so that's sugar water and a cinnamon stick. Put those on a stove at the same time. Once your syrup reaches around about 100 degrees, take that off, and once your milk is almost at a boil, take that off. The hot milk goes into the milk and flour mixture, followed by the syrup, whisking continually while you do this so you don't get any lumps. Now let that stand and cool down for about 10 minutes or so. Stir it so it doesn't get any lumps. And then once it's sort of warm, you can add in the egg yolks. That 6 egg yolks went into there. Just hopefully it doesn't scramble while you're stirring it. I pass mine through a sieve just to take out any bits that may have formed. And now into your formed pastry cups. About 3/4 of the way. Don't fill them, overfill them like that, because they might souffle up over the top, get stuck down the edge while they're baking in the hottest oven you can. Mine was at 450. 15 minutes. I could have probably, oh, look at it. I could have left that maybe another 2 minutes, perhaps, but look at them. They're kind of like deep fried in that well. They are awesome. Look at those. Absolute stunners. When they're warm, I could take them out, let them cool down some more on a pastry rack, but you're not going to wait till they're completely cold. That's traditional. A little icing sugar and cinnamon goes on the top, and just, I mean, look. How do you not want that? And listen. Oh, absolutely stunning. Anyway, it's back over to me for the tasting. Well, I'm looking rather pleased with myself, because these are just gorgeous. Absolutely wonderful. Let's cut another one now. Which one? You. Oh, that pastry. That's something else. And they're still just warm. It's a wonderful tart. Absolutely gorgeous. Catch you in the next video. Come on, soon. Bye.